Well, Lee, as ever, thank you for sitting down with us again to give us another update. The return of football's just around the corner for the team now. How excited are you for the start of the pre-season campaign?
Well, I am. I mean, I'm looking forward to it all kicking off and starting again, Tom. I think it'll be all the better for the fact the fans we now can confirm the fans will be allowed back in, and so I'm a lot more excited about that than anything, frankly. I mean, it's about seeing the players. That'd be great, but to see the fans back in with three pretty good fixtures, I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
There's been plenty of work done here at the stadium as well as at the training ground. Just talk us through that as well.
Yeah, we've had, we've got a great training ground facility which we've just refurbished inside, and we've spent quite a lot of money on the drainage system there. I think we've got a great facility, but for about 3 or 4 months of the year, for the last 2 years, we haven't been able to use it because of flooding. And I think with the way the world is going, unless we solve it, it will always be a problem. So we made a decision at the end of the season to fix it. We've had a new drainage system put into the training ground, which, judging by how it's reacted to the downpours we've had since we put it in, it looks like it's been effective. So inside the gym and the changing rooms and the canteen have been completely refurbished. The drainage system is now in. It looks an absolute picture, and I'm really pleased with it. It's great. And when you take players there, particularly players we're trying to get into the club, that has a real impact, because a lot of clubs in League One and League Two don't have that, and so it's one of our real advantages. And having spent this money on it's great. And also the pitch here has had more work done on it now than in the previous 2 years. We've really gone to town on it, so the pitch, I'm looking at it now, looks magnificent. So it'd be great to play on, no excuses. It'd be great to play on that. Well, the other thing, we've had the whole stadium is in the process of being cleansed. We're having the whole thing deep cleaned, the whole thing, so when the supporters do come back, hopefully you'll see the difference in the cleanliness of the whole stadium. It's, they really have worked hard on it for about 7 or 8 days now to prepare it for when the fans come back.
And you mentioned in your last interview with me that you felt the squad was a little bit short on players, even though I think at that time 4 or 5 had been added, and since then we've added 1 more. Yeah. Are you confident more are going to come in? Yeah,
I am confident more and more are going to come in. I think and I know that because I've just checked before this interview. I think I said at the last one that I wanted us to be sort of much laser focused on getting the right players in. It's more about getting the right players in than how many of them. And if that takes us a bit longer than it normally does, I'm fine with that. If we'd got 11 in, a variable quality, I'd be a bit concerned. But we think we've got 5 or 6 in, and I think by the time we get to the kick-off, probably another 3 or 4 will be added to the first team squad. Particularly, it's more for Matt to talk about and Jamie than me, but at strengthening the back and the front of the team. I think the midfield is looking pretty damn good at the moment.
And you mentioned the return of support as we welcome 3, decent sides to the Bankside Stadium in Crystal Palace, Aston Villa and West Bromwich Albion. It'll be so good again just to see supporters back in here for those 3 games before the League 2 campaign kicks off.
Oh, well, it will, and I think the Palace game originally was going to be at St George's Park. We asked Palace if they could switch it to here, so we could allow the fans to come in and almost test the stadium out actually before the Villa and the Albion games, and they said yes. So the game will be here, so it'll be quite an attractive fixture. And then the big ones against the Albion and the Villa. Unfortunately, of course, following the announcements of the government yesterday, as it stands, the stadium doors can be opened and people can come in their numbers. We won't be restricted by numbers as it stands. It could change, but the latest information is that they'll be able to come in their numbers. So I'd expect, pretty big crowds for both those games before we play Cheltenham and various other clubs in preparation for the League Two season. So just to look around the stadium and see faces in there will be, as I said at the beginning of the interview, will be great. And those three fixtures I think will be well attended. I certainly hope so.
We talk about preparation on the pitch, on the training pitch for the new season, but there's plenty of preparation going on off it with the sale of season tickets. How pleased have you been with the uptake so far?
Well, it's been remarkable, actually. I think, it's really difficult to judge year on year because last year we were in the middle of the beginning almost of the pandemic and the impacts on football. It wasn't right at the beginning, but the impact was being felt. And we knew we didn't know for a fact, but it seemed likely that fans would not be allowed in until October. Little did we know, virtually 9 months on, still hasn't changed. So the world was a very uncertain place a year ago when we got the season tickets on sale, and this year it's more certain. And the process of buying a ticket now is electronic, so it's an easier process. And I think I looked at the numbers just before I came out, and we're massively up on last year, and that really matters. One, we are going to have more supporters in the stadium, but the cash impact on the club is significant and allows us to bring in players of a quality that previously we haven't been able to do. So it does matter. So I am pleased with the season tickets, which has been pretty remarkable. When we finish the whole process, which is probably the only time you can really judge it, we'll talk about how many season tickets we've sold. But as we sit here today, on a year-on-year comparison, significantly better, and I'm really pleased with it. Very pleased.
And on a final note, just that one final message to supporters who may not have bought their season ticket, who are possibly sitting on the edge at the moment. What would you say to them to encourage them to buy?
Well, I think this is an exciting year for us, not only because the fans are back in, but I've attempted over the summer, following last season's, which was pretty disappointing, whichever way you look at it, to transform the club. There's been no messing around the edges. This is a transformation of the club with the playing, the style we're going to play, the management team we brought in, and I was determined that we were going to have a transformational change in this club, not a tinking around the edges and a hope that we will get better. This has been more transformational, and I want the fans to pick up on that. This is different management team, different sort of a team, and on the crest of the coronavirus restrictions being lifted on us, this should be a pretty exciting season for us all, and I want the fans to really get into that. But also the fact to say I've tried very hard with the rest of the management team to transform the club from start to finish on the football side. And we'll know how successful that's been when we kick off against Tranmere, but I can assure you the effort's been enormous.